Good morning, beloveds. Yeah. Okay. I took me a minute to wake up this morning. There are good things about me having my husband going to the gym with me in the morning, or going to the trainer with me in the mornings, because this morning I was not functioning on all of my cylinders. All right, it is June 23rd. Our title is I Simplify My Understanding of God. And our Emerson quote is, whenever a mind is simple and receives a divine wisdom, old things pass away, means, teachers, texts, temples fall. It lives now and absorbs past and future into the present hours. That is Emerson. Let's see what Ernest and Raymond have to say. Jesus was not interested in the logics of theology. He was primarily concerned with the spirit of man. I now turn to the spirit within me and find it in all its greatness and all its peace. There is an interior Christ mind that baffles all reasoning and is beyond all human explanation. In me, at this moment, God abides in fullness, in richness, in omniscience. My life today is the life of God. My thinking this day is accomplished because the God mind thinks through me. My capacity to be a great and loving person is because greatness born of spirit indwells me. From whence I may have come is of little importance to me. Where I shall go upon leaving my present body, I am willing to leave to the wisdom of the Father of us all. Today I am alive as a creative soul, and I will so live that today the action of truth shines forth through the works of my thinking and the words of my mouth. The divine is a perfect simplicity. Life flows through me. Love seeks an outlet from me, and power is mine to use as I select. My use of the Spirit is not dependent upon my education, background, or environment. God in me acts through me as I recognize it. I am not dependent upon theological beliefs. God and I are one process, one life, and one joyous spirit. I am in the Father, and his mind dwells in me and inspires me at every moment. I have an invisible church in my consciousness, and in it I silently acknowledge the beauty of my present life in God. The inner altar of truth feeds me with its living bread of ideas and its vital wine of creative action. I no longer seek an outside God and an exterior temple, for I know that I am the temple of the living God, and that all of his creativeness is mine to use and to enjoy. I have a simplified concept of God. One of the things is that we have a tendency to put God out there, and not just out there, but up there and beyond our reach. And both Ernest and Emerson and Raymond are saying, nope, nope, God's right here, right here, right here. So, and we also have this tendency to put all this stuff on God, and we tend to imbue God with human emotions and human personality and human judgments, and none of that is true. None of that is true. That's one of the reasons why in Science of Mind we tend to talk about a patterning intelligence. We talk about a mind, because we want to eliminate the conflicting personality that so many of us have been taught growing up, so that we can have a different relationship with God and a deeper relationship with God, so that we don't have a petitioning relationship with God. What we have is a cooperative relationship with God, a oh, there's another word. Co-creating, distributing, co-living, you know, with God. It's like God's not out there, God's in here. God doesn't control what I do, but God provides both the and the inspiration for me to do. And God provides that to the level that I am willing. And I simplify my understanding of God is exactly that. I simply let go of all of the nonsense that I have been taught about God and my relationship with God, and just know God. There's nobody who can tell me about my relationship with God. There's no one. So there's nobody that can tell you about your relationship with God, because it's yours. It's personal. Because it's part of you. It's literally part of you. Well, it's literally all of you. But, so nobody can tell you about it. You have to experience it for yourself. You have to feel it for yourself. We can give you guideposts. We can, show you the path, but we cannot walk the path for you. We cannot have the relationship. We cannot have your relationship with God. Only you can do that. Because the God, as Ernest and Raymond like to say, God literally indwells you. God is who you are. But without that creepy aspect of control. Because God created you to have the experience of life. To go and to do whatever it is that brings you happiness and joy and peace and harmony. That's what God created you for. And God provides the power and the inspiration when we're willing to listen. And all of the rest of the stuff that we've been taught about God is floof. So, I simplify my understanding of God. It is literally who we are. We are not all of God. But all that we are is God. Because everywhere around us we look, every being whose eyes we meet, every living thing, and frankly all the inanimate matter too, is made of God's stuff. So that's who and what we are. And our relationship with changes when we realize that we are a part of God. It's like we are God. We're just not all of it. Not all of it. We are a tiny, tiny splinter in the grand scheme of what God is, because God's everything. But, so we are, all of us is God, but we are not all God. We are not all of God. God is so much bigger than us. And if you start there, it'll change your relationship. Okay, whenever a mind is simple and receives a divine wisdom, old things pass away, means, teachers, texts, temples fall. It lives now and absorbs past and future into present hours. So it's like if we want to get to know God, then this is where we go. No matter how big, ornate, and beautiful the church is, that church can't provide you more about your relationship with God than this will. Jesus was not interested in the logics of theology. He was primarily concerned with the spirit of man. Because that's what Jesus was like, the Father is within me. That's what Jesus said. God is within me. Where two or more are gathered. Well, I think Peter said that. Or maybe Paul. That's, it's like wherever you are, God is. I now turn to the Spirit within me and find it in all its greatness and in all its peace. There is an interior Christ mind that baffles all reasoning and is beyond all human explanation. We're born with that Christ mind. It comes pre-installed. It is up to us to activate it and use it. And that's where other people can give us guidance. Because we see other people using their Christ mind and we go, how do you do that? And then they explain it. And then we have to do it ourselves. In me, at this moment, God abides in fullness, in richness, in omniscience. Everything that I am is God. But I am not all that God is. My life today is the life of God. The life you are living is the life of God. And if that terrifies you, why? And what can you do about that? The life you are living is the life of God because you are God in action. You are God in motion. You're not all of it, but you are a significant, even if a small. We are. I like to call us splinters, just to give us an idea of how big God is, because we just can't concept that. We're splinter, but we are significant because God couldn't be doing what God is doing through us if we weren't here. My life today is the life of God. My thinking this day is accomplished because the God mind thinks through me. Being willing to be open to that divine inspiration. Because we're using the God mind anyway. Why not use it fully? Why not be open to that divine inspiration? You're using the God mind. My capacity to be a great and loving person is because greatness born of spirit indwells me. So your capacity to be a great and loving person already exists within you. Because the spirit within you was born in you. You came into this world with that spirit. From whence I may have come is of little importance to me. Where I shall go upon leaving my present body, I am willing to leave to the wisdom of the God of us all. Spirit of us all. Nobody knows what comes next. Nobody knows what comes next. Let's not worry about that. Let's worry about here and now. And let's not worry about here and now, because worrying is a misuse of imagination. Let's imagine a better world. Let's work for a better world. Right here, right now. What comes next will take care of itself. I am alive as a creative soul, and I will so live that today the action of truth shines forth from the works of my thinking and the words of my mouth. The divine is a perfect simplicity. Life flows through me. Love seeks an outlet from me, and the power is mine to use as I select. Your life is yours to do with as you choose. God has no plans for you other than to be happy. What you choose to do with it, that's up to you. How you choose to be happy, that's up to you. The only requirement is that it harm none. That's it. My use of the Spirit is not dependent upon my education, background, or environment, because there are people out there who have never heard of any spiritual teaching who are doing just fine. And there are people out there who have had a whole lot of religious education who are desperately unhappy. We're born with the knowledge. We're born with the ability to use it. And then we frequently have it educated out of us. God in me acts through me as I recognize it. I am not dependent upon theological beliefs. It doesn't mean I can't have them. It doesn't mean that I can't read all the theological texts, but I'm not dependent on them because my relationship with God is on me. Your relationship with God is yours. God and I are one process. One process. God and I are one process. I like that. One life and one joyous spirit. I am in God, and God's mind indwells me and inspires me at every moment. Do you not feel the power of that statement? You are in God, and God's mind indwells you and inspires you at every moment. I have an invisible church in my consciousness, and in it I silently acknowledge the beauty of my present life in God. It doesn't mean you can't go to church, because church is a great place for community. But the reminder is that you don't find God in the church, because you carry your church where you meet God right within you already. God is wherever you are. God doesn't stay in that church. You don't meet God just on Sunday for an hour. You're with God all the time. I silently acknowledge the beauty of my present life in God. The inner altar of truth feeds me with its living bread of ideas and its vital wine of creative action. I no longer seek an outside God and an exterior temple, for I know that I am the temple of the living God, and that all of God's creativeness is mine to use and to enjoy. I no longer seek an outside God and an exterior temple, because I recognize that I am the temple. That does not mean that I'm not going to go to the exterior temple, because that's where I meet my godlings. That's where we talk about our relationship with God, and we learn from each other. And you meet that beautifully simple soul who has this amazing relationship with God, and you go, how do you do that? And maybe they tell you, and maybe they don't. And you learn. I have a simplified concept of God. God is all there is. God is all there is. All right, beloveds. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to be alive as a creative soul and so live today that the action of truth shines forth through our works, our thinking, and the words of our mouths. That's the mission. That's the mission. To let go of all of the addendums that we have been taught about God and learn about our relationship with God in the only place we truly can, within ourselves. We can take all of the guidance from all of the people that we have met, but in the end, our relationship with God is our responsibility. And there is no one that can get between you and God. There is no one that can interfere with that relationship. Well, I say that. The only person who can interfere with that relationship is you. So there is nobody who can get between you and God. It's like being a small child and something happens and, I have a younger brother. So you and your brother both run to tell, and whoever gets there first, that's whose story is believed. That's not the way it works with God. Nope. Because you have on point your relationship with God. You are always the first person to get there. It doesn't matter what anybody else says to God about you, because you have your own relationship with God. All right? So please do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. Have an absolutely wonderful day. I don't know what the weather is doing right now. I don't know if we're going to have any sun. There was some sun this morning. So I got there was enough, it was cool enough that when we were working out that I actually stepped outside of the gym a couple of times to do some of the stuff, because it was just Yeah, so I got some sun. I engaged my mind and my body. He's really good at making me do that. It's like, here, yeah, let's work on balance. Work on coordination. That'll wake you up. Better than a cup of coffee. So, drink plenty of water. It is hot. It is hot. It's summer. It's summer. And do what you need to do to make it a wonderful day. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. This is the state of grace that we live in. We are, and there's nothing that can change that. So take care of yourself. And while you are doing whatever it is that you are doing, because right now we can't open our windows and get the fresh air. We have to figure out how to do that fresh air thing. Do open the windows of your soul. Allow that breath of heaven to remind you live in heaven now. Everywhere you look, God is. And that's heaven. And when we recognize it, we see the good. And we see more. And it just gets better and better and better. We're working on a world that works for everyone. All right, beloveds. Have a wonderful day. Please join us for the soul session tonight. And if you don't make it tonight on Facebook Live, then it will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. I'm very excited about it. Thomas and Daniel have been together for a very long time, and they're an amazing couple, and we look forward to hearing whatever it is that they want to tell us about their lives. Have a wonderful day, beloveds. I will see you. Reverend David will be around 5. We will have the Zoom session on Facebook Live at 7, and then I will be back at 9 a.m. Know that you are loved.